most messed up thing I've ever experienced. I'd been going to the same Korean nail salon every 2 weeks for a full year. Minjung was always the one who did my nails. She greeted me with that same fake smile every time, one that never reached her eyes. "Welcome back, honey," she'd say, already reaching for my usual plain polish. She'd make small talk in English while filing my nails, then switch to rapid-fire Korean with her coworkers. What she didn't know, I understood every word. My mom raised me speaking Korean from birth, but I take after my black father, and people never guess I speak the language. After years of shocked looks and awkward reactions, sometimes it's just easier to smile and let them assume. I was settling into the chair that day when Minjung turned to the new girl and said, in Korean, "Her fingers are getting chubbier, little sausages." The new girl giggled and glanced at me. My jaw clenched on another tech chimed in, laughing about how I made the chair look small. They all started laughing, and Minjung joked about charging me extra for equipment stress. She pushed harder on my cuticles than she needed to. I didn't flinch. Then they started comparing me to other customers and even took photos of my hands. Minjung loudly declared that I was easily their worst dressed regular. She pointed to the darker spots on my knuckles and explained to the new hires that it was for their group chat because the others would die laughing at how ashy I looked. After taking photos, she made a big scene about using hand sanitizer it 3 times and rubbing her hands like she'd touched something filthy. One tech opened a window, another fanned herself with a magazine like the air was toxic. It got even worse when they noticed the bottle of anxiety medication in my purse. Minjung proudly announced in Korean that I was on crazy pills. "Now it all makes sense," she said. "Crazy and ugly." She was louder now, twirling her finger near her temple like the universal sign for insane. The whole salon erupted in laughter. Other customers looked over, confused, but didn't understand what was being said. Another tech joked, "No man would ever touch hands like mine." Minjung agreed, saying I probably hadn't been touched in years, which is why I seemed so desperate. For contact during my appointments, they made vulgar gestures behind my back reflected in the salon mirrors. One pretended to grope someone, while another acted like she was about to throw up. They weren't even trying to pretend I was a person anymore. Minjung started calling me it when talking to other customers. "I have to finish with this thing first," she said. A Korean customer nodded like that was totally normal. The manager even joked they should charge me a contamination fee. Minjung said she felt dirty after touching me and scrubbed her hands like she was trying to remove something toxic. She used the rough side of the file directly on my natural nails. She brought out old, worn-down tools for me and left the new polish bottles unopened, saving them for other clients. But the worst part, she noticed my mom's ring, the one I always wear. She laughed and said it was probably from the dollar store. Another tech suggested I stole it from someone dead. Then someone else said maybe my mom ditched me for being so ugly. They started inventing an entire story about my deadbeat family, adding more cruel details each time. Eventually, they started mocking my mother's death. Minjung practically shouted across the salon, "Well, that's one less generation of ugliness in the world." One of her coworkers added that my mom probably killed herself after seeing what she gave birth to. Everyone stopped what they were doing to laugh. Minjung was laughing so hard she had to stop doing my nails. Literal tears were running down her face. Death was probably a relief after having that for a daughter, she said. Right then, my phone rang. It was my university calling. I looked at the caller ID, and I knew. This was it. I answered in flawless Korean. "Yes, this is Professor Prescott from the Korean Studies Department." The whole salon went dead silent. Someone dropped a bottle of polish, and it shattered on the floor pink, spreading across the tiles like blood. I looked straight at Minjung. Her face had gone pale. Still speaking Korean, I said, "My mother died alone because people like you made her feel too Korean for America and too American for Korea." I let that hang in the air. Minjung's hand started shaking. The new girl covered her mouth. One tech slowly backed away. I placed the exact amount of money on the counter. "No tip." "Keep the tips," I said. They were my mother's way of teaching me that kindness doesn't need to be returned. But I'm done funding your cruelty.